It's July 5th. It's been a minute. I've been working on a couple of socks and things, but I'm sewing a little bit today. I just got this whole edge done for this vest. I had to piece together the back pieces. You can see all those seams back there, but honestly, I don't hate it. I'm glad that the whole back is wool, and I even had to piece together, where is it? The lining. You can probably see, well, you might not be able to very easily, right there, where the leaf is like cut in half, right there. I had to piece that part of the lining together as well to use that fabric. I really like both of them. I like them even better together. I have this one that I made last year, and I remember when I made it, the armholes were like so high, and I had to adjust that before I sewed them down. But I tried this on just to see, like, the sizing is still good, and I did the darts on the back but not on the front, and I did that with this version as well. I did the bust darts up here, and then I did the shoulder darts for here and the ones in the back, but I didn't do the waist darts in the front because I didn't think I would want them, and I was right. So this has served me so well, but the only thing that I am finding is that I'm often like buttoning it and then wearing it with these three, and then I'll take the top, and so that, like, whatever top I'm wearing underneath, like, because I'm normally wearing, you know, like a flannel or something like that, then I'll like kind of mod it into a V-neck, and I've been wearing it this way a lot. So I thought, what if I just made a V-neck one that I would probably like a lot, and maybe I'll stop modding this one that way. Maybe I'll continue to do it that way. I don't know. I've thought about even just like tacking those corners down so that I don't have to do that anymore. But as I was trying this on, I realized, number one, I wasn't sure if the shoulders, if I wanted them to be this wide again. I think it'd be okay if they are, but I think I'm gonna try for even a little bit, like scooching it a little bit more even. But I know that I want the armholes to go down even farther than this one does. So you can tell it's like pilling here because I wear this so much. It was like a fall and winter staple for me last year. I absolutely loved it. It helped me so much. My back gets really cold in the winter and the fall. So the thing that I need to do now is I have to do the armholes the way that I want. If I remember, I'm going to also trim down this shoulder. I think I might, pull it in quite a bit. And then I need to seal up the bottom of it and then just do buttonholes and it'll be done. So I say it's only like 3 steps, but I honestly don't know if I can do all that today because it's a lot of zhuzhing for the arms. This pattern, I'm almost positive, was made by some AI bot, so I don't really share it. And I keep changing the shape of it over and over again, so eventually it will just be an entirely different shape than what the pattern was telling me to do anyway, but that's okay. So I am going to adjust this armhole depth and measure it against that one and make it even deeper, and then do, like, look at how little that arm is. I won't be able to even, like, it's gonna be right up in my armpit. That's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm gonna go deal with that, and that'll be the plan today. We have a couple errands to run, and then I need to be ready to go shortly after the husband gets home to take the kids to practice tonight. So I will need to figure out what I'm doing. But here we go. piece of hair. It is living its best life like that. So we're just going to let it be like that today. It is July 14th. Oh my goodness. We are almost halfway through the month, and I feel like it has flown by. And part of that is because it's just been so busy. Lots of activities. The kids are in a show. I'm in a show. The 2 oldest kids are in a show, and I'm in a show. We've been doing swimming lessons. Yesterday marked the start of the second round of swimming lessons for the summer, and so we're going to be doing that this week and next week. And then this week and next week are also the last rehearsals and the performances for the show that the kids are in. They're in Winnie the Pooh, the musical, and it's so cute and adorable. I have been assisting with music direction for the teen show Footloose, but that part of my involvement is done, so that's really nice to have that checked off the list. It was really fun though to work with them. It was kind of an ideal situation where being the assistant director for something just like kind of means that everybody's kind of thankful for you to be there. There's not a whole lot of ultimate responsibility you have. So that was nice. And I call them the kids. Some of them are new grown-ups, but the kids are really wonderful to work with. They all are just there because they want to be there. It's not like being in a school production or anything, you know. They're all there because it's volunteer community theater, and they're doing a fabulous job. So I'm really excited to go see them in the next few weeks when their show is happening. And then my show doesn't perform until September, so we have a little bit before that's up in our faces. But I have been, yesterday I went on a little errand buddy time with my friend Heidi, and we went to Goodwill's to look for costumes for Hello Dolly. That's kind of the first thing you do, is you go to thrift stores and things like that and find somebody's costume that they did for another show, or somebody's dress or whatever that they're no longer needing. And it's a really good way. You can find some real treasures that way. Not also just for everyday life. I found a couple of things that I'm really excited to wear. I might wear one of them tonight that I found. So that'll be fun. And it was just fun hanging out with her. She is a newer friend, but when there are a few friends from the show in Oklahoma that I almost said acquired. It's almost like I bought them. That's not what I mean. That just really clicked really well. And that's been really fun. I miss them desperately during this season. Some of them are in the show, Hello Dolly, and some of them are not. Taking a little bit of a break for the summer, but the ones that are not in the show, I miss them terribly. And I've been trying to figure out how to see some of them, but it is just so busy. And I feel like sometimes when you have a bunch of kids, life just it's a relentless, situation. And so it feels like time just keeps going on, even though you're constantly thinking about those people. And yeah, that's also a look into the ADHD brain, where you think about people a lot and you miss them, but also like your life just feels like it keeps going. And for me, when I get overwhelmed, communication is hard, because even just like regular communication between my husband and I gets harder to accomplish because we're like ships passing in the night, right? So anyway,
that's not why I sat down here, but it's okay. When I was going to the inn in Metamora that my mom owns, just to like cover some things while she was on a trip with my dad, I brought 2 knitting projects with me. I brought my heel toe do-si-do socks, which are coming along fabulously. Look at that. Oh my gosh, so sweet. I love that. And I'm getting back, I think this like mirrors itself. So I think we have this and then these again, and then it goes back into the white. So I know that I want to get through that sequence and then see how many rounds I'm doing here, or I did here, and like that way it's pretty symmetrical. And then I'm just going to go into the heel, and this has been the plan for a while, is that I would have the heel be all this color. Now here's my plan, because I don't really know how much yarn that's going to use. And so my buffer is that I took the color, the stripes that had different colors, so like you can see the end of that green, off of the end of this and put it in a scrappy sock so that I would have this available for whatever I guess wrong at the end. So I'm probably just going to go into the heel. I was thinking about just doing the heel with the outside of the cake, but I think what I'm going to do is just do the heel and keep knitting as if I wasn't using any extra yarn until the white runs out. And then if it looks like not long enough to me, I'll add that in and then pick up the main yarn again. So it might just be somewhere in the gusset that's like, you know, got a couple ends I need to weave in for it. But I think that will actually be the way that my brain can just step by step get it to the dimensions I'm hoping it will be. Granted, I have no idea. My foot is just the length that it is, so I have no idea if that will work the way that I'm thinking it will, where I was thinking it would be fun to have like this stripe sequence in the leg, have the heel, then have this stripe sequence in the foot, and then, you know, the toe, the foot would just finish out with the white also. But I don't really know if that's going to work. So we're going to see. And if for some reason I have some stripes on the toe, then that's not the end of the world. But I have this picture in my head of what, you know, the more, not even, and not even exactly symmetrical, but, you know, balanced. The way that the stripes will balance, I think it would look really neat. And so working on that, and every once in a while I'm just putting rounds in this. So this one I've worked on, I think I worked on it until I finished the green stripe and got into the more beige stripe. This is the General Leia socks from Mustache Yarn, by the way. And then I kind of paused because I want to get this one through that as well. A lot of times I'll do the leg entirely and then do the whole leg on the other one, but I wanted to at least get through this white because I wanted to. I thought for some reason it would be harder to see the increase and decrease stitches without the stripes, but honestly, look at that. You can see it really easily. And maybe if I were dealing with a darker yarn, it would be harder to do, but this speckled white is, I can see it really clearly, so that's nice. So I just keep working on these back and forth. So I brought these to the pool. We spent a couple hours at the pool both days we were there, and the my kids are finally big enough, and honestly that pool was shallow enough. It only went up to like 3.5 feet in most of the pool, that I was able to sit and knit in a lounge chair by the pool. It was delightful. After spending years of, lifeguarding my children at the pool, and it's not that I don't still, like, I'm still watching them. I'm still, like, constantly figuring out where they are. And since this sock is mostly stockinette, it's a you do your increases and your decreases all in one round, and then you resolve everything with a stockinette round. So you have half a round where you're having to, place your things correctly, but otherwise you barely have to look at it. And so that's really fun. I also, the last time I did these socks, I did a 64 stitch count because that's what I normally do for socks, but I think my decreases were so tight. I also had trouble not doing the decreases every round, so every once in a while I would have the wrong stitch count. I would even have, I think I even got down to 60 stitches sometimes because I was doing it incorrectly, but I'm keeping track a lot better this time. I don't think I've made any mistakes yet. Every time I double check my stitch count for the front, it's been correct. So that's really good. And then also it's way easier for me to read the stitches this time around. So yeah, so I think these are going to go well, but I also did increase 8 stitches. I just on every 8th stitch I did a knit front and back, which I kind of wish, this is nitpicky. I don't think I've ever put that together before. That's so silly. But like right here, oh, I don't know if I'm blocking it. Right there is where that knit front and back is, and these 2 stitches go straight forward. So if I ever do that again, I hope I remember to do the knit front and back like a stitch over, so that those are very clear and uninterrupted. But I don't think anybody else will notice that but me. Yeah, anyway, so these are going pretty well, but it's my project that I bring when I don't have to pay attention, when I don't want to have to pay attention to the knitting project very much. So that's why that came to the pool, because I knew I would need to be able to watch the kids also. And with the cast on that I brought, yes, it is a sweater cast on. I knew that I would like eventually not be knitting on it because I needed to focus on what the kids were doing. So this is the coffee cardigan. I will put who it's by. I've knit it before, and I gave it to my sister before she had her first baby, because I feel like cardigans are just like the best nursing like accessory, but it's actually clothes, right? But then also shawls are pretty great too. I will say shawls are also wonderful while nursing, because honestly, while you're nursing, a lot of times, especially in those early days, like sometimes it's just, you just have your shirt up all the time, and I would get cold constantly. And unless it was the summertime, I have 4 kiddos, and I only had one of them in the summertime, and one baby in August. The rest of them were one was a spring baby and the other 2 were winter babies, and so I was just always cold. And cardigans were my dearest friend during those periods of time. Now that I am a more obsessed knitter, I knew how to knit back then, but I wasn't doing any knitting then. Now I knit every day, mostly for special interest sake, but also for longevity's sake. There's so many brain health benefits from that come from knitting and like handcrafts, right? So yeah, back then I was not knitting at all, but the cardigans were my dear friend. Now I think I would have really loved like a big cozy shawl. Yeah, so there's that. But this is the back panel, and I am doing this one with a bit of positive ease. I'm sure you can tell because this is where the shoulders are. I'm very excited about it. I'm using a sport weight yarn, even though I think it's rated as a DK pattern. So I went down 2 needle sizes. So I went up 2 sizes in the pattern. And I think that's going to work out just fine. I did not gauge swatch at all. I just know that I really like this yarn on a US 5, I think it is. It's a 3.75 millimeter needle, which is a US 5. So I already know that I really like this yarn on that needle size because it looks super gappy right now. But when I block it, it blooms so beautifully. I used some of this in my anthology throw, and I did kind of a mid block for that project. It is not finished, but this yarn is one of my favorites. The brown is just so beautiful. Oh, and it's hard to see in this light, but there's like reds, and even it's just very the way they blend it is very, it almost looks variegated when you get close up, similar to like Let Lopi yarn when you're far away and it's just like the base color, and then you get closer and you're like, oh, there's a lot going on there. I love that type of variety with the yarn. So I brought this with me and I cast it on, not because I had it on my list. I did have it on my list. This is the thing, right? I don't need to feel bad about anything in my crafting ever, but there are some things that like I'm making for some people that I'm like, well, I should do that before I do something else. But the way that I am motivated as a person is often through different kinds of achievement, right? So like if I give this to myself as a prize, I will often work on something else for a minute. So making a deal with myself about like, if you work on Dad's cardigan, if you do a chart repeat on Dad's cardigan, then you can work on this like for however long or for the rest of the day or whatever. And I had not been doing that. I didn't cast anything on for a while because I was like, no, I should be, if I'm going to work on a sweater, I should be working on that sweater. But I keep thinking like, oh, but I want to cast on this one and I want to cast on this one. And I realized I didn't have like a motivation prize for myself. And that's often how I work. So anyway, I decided to cast this on anyway. It's almost time to go for swimming lessons. I cast this on anyway so that I can just work the way that I work, you know? And I'll get a sweater for myself out of it eventually. And I think also starting a sport weight sweater in July is a great idea because it's not super heavy. And by the time the fall rolls around, I'll probably have like a sleeve left to do. And it'll be perfect timing. I'll be so motivated to wear it. And I've been wanting to use this yarn for a sweater for a long time. Like it's just been sitting in my stash. And I have a lot of Nutiden that I want to make into sweaters also, but I have these visions of some worsted weight sweaters that I want to do with those. And with my worsted weight sweaters, I'm often doing less positive ease. But I think with this one, the positive ease is going to work out really well. So it's a funny thing that I'm preferring my thicker sweaters to be like closer to my body, right? Because it's cold when I want the thicker sweaters, which means I'm using bigger yarn and bigger needles with less stitches. But then with these lighter yarns, I am using smaller yarn on smaller needles with more stitches. So it's just a lot more knitting than the worsted weight sweaters that I'm planning on, or at least one of them that I've already done. So anyway, now it's time to go to swimming lessons, and then later tonight I have practice, and it's going to be a really fun one because the whole cast is going to be there, and I just love when the whole cast is there. It's really fun, and it's a cast that is just all we were all like clicking from the beginning, you know what I mean? Just trying to, we are all like ready to put on a really good show from the very beginning. And sometimes with different casts, especially if you have like some new people, or if you are a new person, there's like this hesitancy you feel with different individuals where you can kind of tell they're not all in yet. But with this cast, it seems like they've all been in from the beginning. And so that's really very fun, because it leads to a feeling of safety. And then when everyone feels safe, it's a lot easier to play. And so when everyone is able to play, there's just a lot more that you can do and experiment with. And also, the more that we play together, the safer we feel together. So there's more, it's just this amazing, beautiful cycle of curiosity and creativity and play. So very fun. But now I really do have to go, even though I love talking to you. is July 31st. Well, it might be technically August 1st at this point, but in my head it's still July 31st because I haven't gone to bed yet. It might technically be midnight or a little after, but I stayed up a little bit because I was so close to finishing something that I thought I would just finish it. But as I was finishing it, it just was funny to me how, you know how sometimes your work reflects the moment in life that you're in? So this hat is all done. It wasn't originally going to be a hat. It was originally going to be a cowl. So I started with a provisional cast on and then just did this orange, and I put on I used the leftovers from a pair of mittens that I made already. I finished the mittens, I can't remember if it was last month or the month before, but I finished those, and I think that meant I was up to, oh gosh, I may have been all the way here. And the plan was to do all the scraps from the mittens and the mitts and then do like the rest of the cowl in just one color, do a half twist, graft it together, cute little cowl, right? But then I thought, I think this would be a good size for my head. So that's kind of funny. I didn't really even plan on it being a hat until one day I put it on as a joke with my kids, and I was like, actually, I like this ease a lot. So I put in a couple other colors, and then I just started doing decreases because that's as long as I wanted it to be. I have done muscle burros before. This is basically a muscle burro. Usually with a muscle burro, what you'll do is start at one end, do increases, knit, do decreases, close it off. But with this one, I just started in the middle because it was supposed to be something else originally. But I'm very happy with this. It's so cute, so scrappy, and I like that this lining just looks like another stripe from here. My husband was saying he thinks it would be cool and cute to wear it this way, and that is also true. That would be cute. I think this might be my first one that I've made that I might wear both ways. Usually I have a preferred side, and I do like the stripes a lot, but I also like that the options are, I usually wear my hats a little bit slouchy, and so with this one I can wear it that way and it's fine, and the gauge is really nice too, so that I can do that very good. But then also I can wear it the way he's talking about, like a true beanie or toque, right? And it'll be very warm and cute. Very warm and cute. Adorable. And it's actually still a little bit damp on the ends, so I will let this dry a little bit more before I pack it away with the fall and winter stuff that I already packed away earlier this year, and probably forget about it and then fall in love with it again when I do that. However, the thing that I was trying to finish this evening were the fingerless mitts that I was doing with the birthday yarn. Now, these are almost entirely made with this wool stock bundle from Blue Sky Fibers. It's 100% Peruvian wool. Here we go. And this was a set of 27 5-gram minis. Now, it was adorable to even just look at, you know, the things that you buy and you're like, this might just be decoration for a second. But I was determined to use my birthday yarn this year. I have two more things that I got for my birthday that I can cast on and use, and I really would like to. I think it would be nice to just use all the birthday yarn and not have any cast-ons that I'm just like still waiting to get to. So all of these, except for these in the gusset, are part of are all colors from that. When the gusset starts, this green, this pinky, salmon color, this gray, this purple, all of those are just leftovers from my stash. I wanted to reuse some colors, and when I was figuring out how that was working, I realized that I would only be able to reuse them if I didn't use them in the gusset, because then I'd be using too much with the first section that I would use with them. And then I decided with the thumbs to not match them up because I didn't have any more of this blue, because I used it down here and down here. Now these are technically done and they're very cute. I did I-cord bind offs with this dark green on the top, and I just am really, really liking them. They have a lot of negative ease, and so they are gonna stick on my hand real good, and they are long. I like knitting my fingerless mitts long. If they're actually supposed to help keep my hands warm, then I feel like that's what I need to do. My posture is so bad. I keep like dropping down about 6 inches in the frame. So they're very cute. They fit very well. In this heat, they're already, it's just a teeny bit prickly, which means to me that they're going to be perfect for fall and winter. And this I-cord bind off is just perfect. I wasn't sure if it would be too tight, but because this is all ribbed, it like flares when it's not on a hand. And then there's even like some extra room for me to spread my fingers around. So that's perfect. And so these are done and the hat is done, but there are so many ends to weave in, just so many. And that is just how scrappy projects work, right? I'm gonna try and pull the thumb out here so I can access those ends also. So they're here, they're all along here. And I did on this one, I started doing, I don't know if you guys know about the, what's it called? The sea glass sweater. And that one is just like, the ends on that one would be crazy, but they have this way that you can like braid them together. It's basically a French braid of yarns down the sweater so that you don't have to weave in, with that one it would be so many ends. I think with the cardigan version, they have it managed in a way where it's like in the button band or something. Anyway, I tried that, the braiding, and it does leave like this ridge on the side. So I just decided I'm gonna weave them in, and that's fine. So I got about here, weaving them all in before I decided to do the thumbs. And now all that's left is weaving them in. But friends, this is chaos. Like technically finished, but also chaos. And then when I look at my basket that I was doing these projects with, it is also just chaos in here, right? And it's not just yarn. I have the 2 needles that I did the mitts with. I have the needle that I did the hat with. I have the DPNs that, I have the other needle that I did the other side of the hat with. I have the DPNs that I closed the hat with. I have these yarns that need to go into the leftovers. I have these yarns that are just tails that need to go into the yarn ends jar that I have. I have a nail file and a cuticle thingy. It's just in there. I have all of these tags from the colors I was using. They all have these individual tags. I have my scissors. I have 2 sets of needle stoppers because I was using a set on one side of the hat and a set on the other side of the hat, because every time I shoved it in my bag, one side or the other the needles were kind of falling off. I have a tapestry needle, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stitch markers in here for some reason. And honestly, I'm going to stay up and put it away because that will make me feel better. And eventually I will soak these and, let them dry and put them in the bin as well. But that's just kind of how July has been. That things are technically finished, but everything seems to need a little more work and a little more tidying up.